Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're back with an offlane tier list. I was looking at the tier list because I use the same Dota page to obviously make the tier list. I have an offlane tier list you can see here. And I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is so outdated. So we're back, we're here, we're ready to go. I've updated it all. Obviously, some heroes that you can play offlane are not on this list. For instance, I took Elder Titan off, I took Gyrocopter off, I took Ogre Magi off. I just want to mainly stick to the heroes that are primarily played as offlaners on this list. On top of that, go sign up to the Game League website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Alright, so let's not waste too much time. In the D tier, we have a couple of heroes here. Batrider, maybe you could argue he shouldn't even be on this list, but Batrider is just terrible. Let me tell you, this is one of those heroes that I don't even think is that good in the pro scene. I think it's personally overvalued. It's mainly valued at the highest level for its ability to win the lane. It wins the lane and then it stuns. But honestly, that's kind of all it does. Some people take Arsonist facet and they take buildings, which is cool and honestly kind of practical. It's maybe my favorite way to play the hero. But man, if you play this hero in pubs and you don't know what you're doing, you are going to have literally no impact. You have to dominate your lane. If you don't, you're going to feel awful. Its fighting is difficult, its scaling is hard, I don't recommend it. Then we have Brewmaster, who's really sad to see here because this is one of my favorite offlaners in the game. When I got to top 100 in Europe, I was playing largely Brewmaster. And so yeah, it's sad to see him here, but this hero got nerfed in every possible way. Its innate got destroyed. Its ulti is destroyed. Vessel, the item he likes buying, got nerfed. Everything about Brew is just bad now. I thought it was maybe okay, but honestly, it just seems to be awful. Then we have Beastmaster. His win rate is terrible, 45%. I think it's mainly down to execution and gameplay. I think the Ags and the Helmdom build are pretty equal in power, and both are just very meh. It's hard to scale into the late game with this hero. Just in general, the execution is very tight. It's like Beastmaster is like Sand King, but 30 times as hard. It's like a flash farm hero, but it's really hard. And so the payoff is just not there. Next up in the C tier, we have Mars. I think this hero at a high level is really good because of the no vision ulti. It's quite powerful, but in average pubs, you need synergy with Mars. And yeah, it's just the scaling is bad on this hero. And so without good synergy, it's just a bad hero. Then we have Doom, who I can't believe I have to put in C tier. I think for the pro scene, it's more of a B tier hero. I think it's like a mid B tier hero for the average high MMR player, but for the average player, every time I watch Doom and every time I look at the win rate, it's just bad. Unless this hero is disgustingly broken, it's bad, which is crazy because this is one of the best scaling heroes in the game, but I think it mainly comes down to the fact that people just fight too much. They fight when Doom is on cooldown, they fight in the early game, and they just run in, they act if they're a tank, but unfortunately Doom is a farming hero, and so if you play him like the standard offlaner, which people are going to do because it's an offlaner, you're just gonna feed. Then we have Pangolier. It's a solid offlaner. If the hero was better, the numbers have been nerfed, actually probably 4 or 5 patches in a row due to the pro scene, then it would be a decent pub hero. But because it's so good in the pro scene, it's destroyed for average players, and it's already a difficult hero in terms of mechanics, and it's a difficult hero in terms of scaling. Then we have Primal Beast. Similar to mid Primal Beast in the mid tier list yesterday, this hero extremely hard to play. Its laning stage is not the best, and scaling on this hero is really hard. It is possible. The Ags, Shiva's level 20 talent is very good and you have a timing, but let me tell you, if you don't click all your buttons very, very well, you're going to do nothing and just get kited. Then we have Dawnbreaker. I literally never see this hero. I think it's a fine aura buyer into Ags, but I don't know. I just haven't seen this hero in forever. Then we have Tide, kind of same thing with Tide. I mean, who plays Tide? I'm pretty sure it's bad, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's just a bad hero. Then we have Slaughter, got nerfed too much. We have Magnus, actually decent, but very hard to play. This is one of the hardest heroes in Dota to play. I watch high MMR players and they struggle. They struggle to make the hero look clean. This is probably a top 10 hero in difficulty in my opinion. And I might be like, what? Just hit an RP. But a lot of the game you gotta hit skewers, you gotta farm safely because the hero doesn't have good disengage, skewers tends not to be good enough. It's just hard, especially if you don't hit a good RP, the rest of the team fight, having impact is really difficult. Alright, moving into the B tier, we have Dazzle. I think this hero is actually a good offlaner in pubs if you just farm Ancients. If you don't farm Ancients, it's more of a C tier hero. If you do and you buy Ags and a BKB and a Hurricane Pike and you just be this really annoying backline menace, then it can be super strong and you can go crazy. Then we have Timbersaw. I think the scaling in this hero is pretty good. A lot of its strong items are good. Kaya into Pipe into Shiva's is a really powerful build right now. Both of the facets, especially in my opinion, Shredder, are really good in the offlane. Then we have Enigma. I I think this hero is a cheese pick as an A tier hero. If you pick it into heroes like Slark or, a favorable matchup like Morphling, these types of things, you can really just dumpster your lane and run over the game. And you also scale well, so yeah, definitely a big fan of Enigma, but particularly if you can last pick. Then we have Bristleback. He's not like former and old Bristleback. There's patches where Bristleback is just unkillable, does way too much damage. Farms way too fast. I remember the old patch when his Shard and Ags were way better. This hero was so broken. Oh my, it was so broken. Now it's good. It is still really good. Seeing Red is a really nice facet, because it kind of returns you back to normal and gives you extra damage. And yeah, Bloodstone is a good item right now. Stacking Ancients is fine. It's pretty meta right now, so yeah, this hero's solid. It's always a good pub hero. Then we have Dragonite. I think Dragonite is more of a mid and a carry, but I actually do think offlane Fire Dragon Dragonite, just hitting Ancients and getting big timings, is pretty powerful and definitely can be played. Next up, we have DP. Ever since they nerfed the hero, she's fallen off. I thought she was more of an A tier hero for a bit, just for her ability to buy auras. And be very, very powerful. But then they nerfed all the auras, they nerfed her facet kind of out of nowhere, and she fell off very hard. Then we have Darkseer, the Aura King, outside of Underlord. He's the Aura King, definitely a hero I love in pubs just for his ability to have high impact while buying some of the most useful items in the game. And of course, his abilities scale very naturally into the late game with Wall of Replica and Vacuum being very good teamfight abilities. Then we have Pudge, who I actually do believe is a pretty good offlaner right now. I think the scaling of this hero is very good, just because he innately gains strength. And on top of that, Flayer's Hook, ever since they released it, made this hero way better. It just does a billion damage. On top of that, Pudge can be a great flash farm hero and scales very well with Ags plus aura items and can be a great offlaner. Then we have Venge. I always recommend Venge in my tier list videos. I think this hero as a core in average pubs is really good. The lane can be very dominant, and most importantly, the Ags timing is it's easy to play and it's really high impact. Yes, it can get run over. This is the weakness of Venge. If it doesn't get to that timing, it can be kind of a bot. But if it gets there, which it's not hard to do in average MMR in my opinion, just farm your lane, maybe get a kill here and there, you can be the best hero in the game, in the mid game, of course. Maybe not in the late game, but in the mid game. Next up at the top of B tier, these are heroes that I both believe can be in the A tier, which is Night Stalker first off, and Lycan. Night Stalker is a hero that tends to be good in pubs, but it was really good not too long ago when its ulti refreshed all of its abilities. Ever since they removed that, it kind of lost its ability to be a 1v9 hero. They really took that away from him, and now it's kind of just like a solid pub hero because easy to play, scales well, solo kills heroes, very straightforward and safe, reliable laning stage, which is nice, much better than things like Timbersaw, or Primal Beast, or Doom. It's just easier, or Mars, easier to play because you're high HP, high reach, and high damage, and you can take the Night facet if you really want an easy start. And then we have Lycan. I think, honestly, either facet on Lycan can be really high win rate. Pack Leader, Alpha Wolves. Honestly, Helmdom got buffed a lot. Like, this item is pretty damn good right now. So I'm shocked Beastmaster is like really bad win rate, but Lycan has actually a super solid win rate. I think Alpha Wolves is extremely good, and I think Pack Leader is extremely good. I think Spirit Wolves are like terrible, but I don't know, this hero is just solid. You can be a right clicker as well. I'm a big fan of going Alpha Wolves with 2 Bracers or Bracer Wraithband, Treads into Harpoon, and then I go like BKB Nullifier. You can be a real carry on this hero. Next up in the A tier, we have Necro, who is not picked in high MMR, but definitely deserves a spot here, and it's mainly for this hero's ability to counter the Bracer meta. I mentioned this in the mid-tier list, and it's the same for the offlane, right? This is a hero that all you need to do is get tanky. I don't even really think you should buy Dagon, even though Dagon is fine on this hero. It's really not a bad build. I think all you need to do is get tanky and counter the tank meta. Tanks are meta, offlane heroes are tanky, supports are tanky because of bracers. Everyone's tanky. Literally everyone's tanky. Necro is like, he's the best hero against tanks, arguably. He's really good against this meta, this tank meta, even Crimson meta, right? I mean, he's not so good against Pipe, I'll say that, but I mean, a lot of heroes have that problem. Next up, we have Legion, infinite scaling. I think this hero's terrible in the pro scene, but let me tell you, when you scale infinitely, yeah, you'll be decent in pubs. Then we have Razor. In terms of scaling, man, this hero's good. I think you can play it in 2 different ways in the offlane. You always take Thunderhead, which is the facet that gives him a double proc chance and a lower cooldown on his E, his Storm Surge. So you can either be really tanky and just constantly proc this 3-pronged damage ability that also slows and just be a menace with Pipe Crimson, and maybe even Greaves. Or you can just go normal Falcon Blade BKB or Falcon Blade Manta and just kind of run in, scale into the game. Both builds are completely viable, really powerful, and I'm a big believer in this hero in general. I think more teams should be looking at it, or even just more players. Then we have Lone Druid. Bare necessities, Lone Druid, really good lane, very reliable, scale into the game. And what's nice about offlane Lone Druid is once you hit level like 7-ish, you can take Ancients. The main timing you take Ancients is Maelstrom, but you can do it before then. So if your game is a little hard or you feel threatened because this hero isn't the best at defending itself until it has ulti, you can just go hit Ancients. Or if the ulti's on cooldown, you can just go hit Ancients. You can get so many levels and scale really, really well. I'm a big fan of Lone Druid. I think this hero is still underrated. And yeah, you guys should give it a shot. Just go Gleipnir and Harpoon, obviously with treads on the main hero, and you can pop off. Then we have Viper. I think Predator Viper. I've made so many videos praising this hero. It's just solid, and this hero fights much better at every stage of the game because its right clicks actually do damage now. It went from a hero that was completely reliant on its abilities to do damage, and it was completely dispellable, to now being a decent right clicker. And the build I think you should go is like Wand, Wraithband, Treads into Dragonlance Manta, and then you take the talent that makes your Corrosive Skin do more damage, and the Mantas can kill creep waves for you because the Corrosive works on Mantas. So I'm a big believer in just scaling as Viper as a right clicker. Then you buy Pike, then you can buy Gleipnir, you can go Butterfly, you can then go BKB, and just turn it to a right clicker. Talking about heroes that can turn into right clickers, we have Brood. Kind of funny seeing Brood in A tier. This tends to be a really low win rate hero, but it's not right now. And I think that honestly mainly comes down, partially at least, to the facet of Feeding Frenzy. It makes it where the Insatiable Hunger applies to the spiders. I mean, you can insta-kill buildings if you get left alone when split pushing. This is also one of the best scaling heroes in the game. Yes, you do have to really know what you're doing. You gotta know when to farm and like how to flash farm. But the laning stage is pretty simple. You heal like a ton just through your innate. You're pretty hard to kill. Your farming timing at level 6 is nasty. And then, yeah, you can either go Pipe Crimson and just be this really obnoxious early game presence, or you can scale by going Harpoon, Manta, BKB into like Daedalus Butterfly and just right click the heck out of people. There's also still the Orchid build, which is completely viable as well. Then we have Visage. It's simple. It comes down to Death Toll. Death Toll is broken. It makes you get way too much gold and you can just fight off cooldown. All you need to do on this hero is fight. Don't even farm. I'm not kidding. You could have 20 CS at minute 10. I would call you a noob if you had 20 CS at minute 10, but you could have 20 CS at minute 10 and still be top net worth. And that's what you should do on this hero. Just run around and fight. Show up to everything. Every single fight. Just be there. Spam your W. Buy auras. That's it. Just buy auras. Go Pipe Greaves, Pipe Crimson, Drums Greaves, Drums Pipe. Just whatever aura item is good for the game. Obviously, I think going Drums first or Atos first tends to be better, just so you're faster or have some control, so you can stick on people with the Soul Assumption, but then just buy auras. Next up, we have Axe. This hero is just kind of a solid laner. It farms really, really fast, and then when people buy Glass Cannon items, it's the best hero in the game. I think as you gain more and more MMR, Axe falls off, mainly for the reason that number one, he's not good at farming alone, so it's a pretty easy to gank hero due to the fact that it has no disengage and it's not that tanky early game. I guess with one-man army, it's a little bit better now, and the bracers, it's a little bit better now, so I'll give him that. But there's that, and then people stop buying Glass Cannon when they see Axe on the enemy team. They buy Sanjin Yasha Satanic and other stat-based builds, and then Axe is just way worse. Then we have Kunkka. Man, this hero is tanky. Damn, it's annoying. Both of its facets are really good. High Tide and Grog Blossom are pretty strong. This passive run that you get that just makes you not die in the lane and in the mid game, 20% damage delayed and 10% movement speed for 10 seconds on a 60-second cooldown. It starts in the laning stage. I mean, bursting Kunkka is literally impossible because then the boat can also be put on top of him, and that also makes him take no damage. I mean, Kunkka can be literally unkillable, and it's so obnoxious. He buys Blade Mail into auras, and he just runs in, gets in there, then you buy your shard, you're mispositioning people. Dude, this hero, it's just, the tankiness is out of this world right now. Finally, for the A tier, it's a hero that I don't really think is good as you progress in MMR, but it's Abaddon. In terms of low MMR heroes, this is one of the best. It's easy to play. It kind of does it all, besides stun. It's a good lane, it saves people, it farms kind of poorly, which is the weakness. It's not the best, but it takes towers, it solo kills people. It's just a very well-rounded, easy to play, strong pub hero. And so yeah, I mean, you can buy honestly anything. There's so many different builds. Phylactery is good, Radiance is good, Holy Locket plus Auras is good. There's a lot. Echo Saber is good in the Harpoon and the Manta. Actually, Manta's bad now, they nerfed it, but there's so many different angles. And finally for the S tier, we first off have Centaur, which quad bracer Centaur with horsepower is the tankiest shit in the game. You buy 3 or 4 bracers, then a blade mail, and then you stack aura items and you're completely unkillable because your innate gives you 30 max health every 2 minutes. Bracers give a stupid amount of health to this hero and movement speed due to its facet, And then, yeah, you just stack auras. This is probably the most reliable stun in the game. Right now, its laning stage, really good. Like, it's just the most stable offlaner outside of the best hero in the game, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Centaur is the most reliable stun. Really good lane, scales well, buys auras, happily buys auras because they literally let him farm because he needs regen. And magic resist to use double edge. So just super solid hero. Centaur is an easy pick in like every game. Then we have Underlord, Aura King, always high win rate in low MMR. Why? Well, laning stage, easy to play. Spells, easy to use. Fiend's Gate plus this facet, this Abyssal Horde is really good. These things burn mana, they give bonus AoE movement speed, they deal damage if you kill them. Like, this facet is really good. The hero is solid, the items it wants to buy right now are super solid. Atos in a pipe, Crimson, Ags is like really good, really high impact. And really mainly it comes down to the fact that it's just kind of easy to play. And finally, a hero that has lower win rate than Underlord, but I can't not put it here, is also the best mid hero, is Sand King. It just farms too fast. This hero does everything. It's easy to play, it farms faster than every other hero in the game besides like Alchemist. It's actually probably the second fastest farmer in Dota. I'm like sort of not kidding, it maybe outfarms Naga if you really wanted to. And yeah, it just does way too much damage with items that are just good for its team. It can literally go Bloodstone into piped Shivas with no blink, and you're gonna feel like a raid boss that just kills everything. Don't even have to go blink on this hero. Like, I actually think the best pub build might be going Bloodstone into pipe into Shivas and just walking into the enemy. And you're probably gonna kill them all, like every single time. I don't know. I think Sand King is a completely busted hero. It could get dumpstered in its lane and it will still be top net worth in a couple of minutes. Like, it's really, Dust Devil Sand King is something else. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend you do. Yes, obviously you might feed if you haven't played the hero before. It requires a bit of mechanical skill and the lane is not the best, but its mid game and late game are stupid. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.